evening, how you doing? My name is Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again, and this is episode 2 of the Arsenal review. The season is up and running. Now, it wasn't a bad weekend, was it, in the end for Arsenal? A good win on Friday to start the season, which was great. A few good performances individually as well, which we will look at as well. Plus, as well, I did spend a little bit of time over the weekend watching All or Nothing. So I'm going to give some thoughts on that as well and see what we've made of the first 3 episodes and get into that as well. And obviously, we've got a game at this weekend as well. First home game against Leicester. So we will be looking ahead to that as well. So loads to come. The other side. And welcome again to Melvin as well. How are you this week, Melvin? It must have enjoyed the weekend like we all did.
Yeah, fantastic. Night starts the weekend Friday night, a bit different to last year.
Exactly. I mean, what I think we said it last week, didn't we? When we play on a Friday, if we win the game, it makes the weekend fantastic. We can enjoy all the other games. Obviously, if you lose, you're just not interested. Luckily, we won. And that was really good. And also, as well, joining us again, we've got one of our favourite guests. It's Neil. How you doing? You all right, mate?
I'm good. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. We can hear you fine.
Shut up, Melvin. Cheeky sod. Yeah, no, sorry. I've just come back from I finished work a bit early, so I thought I'd go for a walk, and I'm a bit sweaty and horrible, but
no,
work. But I thought, no, let me come on and just say hello to you guys and have a little chat. So, how are you both doing? All right?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Very well, mate. Yeah, we had a good weekend. Obviously, enjoyed the football and everything else, which was nice. So, I mean, the season's up and running. Premier League season's back. It doesn't seem like that long ago the previous season finished, really, does it, when you think about it? It's come back around, obviously, a bit of an earlier start this year because of the World Cup and all that kind of stuff. Now, we did, of course, we kicked off the season, didn't we, on Friday? And it wasn't bad in the end, was it? Not bad at all. So, slight contrast to last season's first game, of course, against Brentford, when we're all over the place and lost. This season on Friday, of course, it was totally different. I mean, for me, it was quite a strange game in many ways. We were brilliant at times, especially in the first 20 minutes or so. And then as the game wore on, we kind of almost allowed Crystal Palace to get back into it. But we got the job done. We defended well, got the second goal on the break, 3 points in the bag, beautiful, clean sheet. Great way to start the season. So lots of positives, 1 or 2 not so positives. But I really wanted to look at the 3 debuts that we had. Obviously, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, and of course, William Saliba, who got man of the match. I mean, really, to have 3 debuts go that well was incredible, really, wasn't it? All 3 of them fitted straight into the team. They all contributed massively to the victory in different ways. And certainly we can all feel, I believe, really positive about certainly those 3 guys going into the season, but also the fact that we can see now that the squad's been strengthened and the first 11's been strengthened as well with these guys coming in. I mean, Melvin, you must have been really delighted with the performance of those 3 guys in particular, but as a team, we were good for most of the game, wasn't we?
Well, picking those 3 out, I mean, William Saliba, I saw him a few years ago when we fought him on YouTube. He looked outstanding. You can't always tell from that, but he did look a bit special. And he got the type of performance the other night. It's like he could have played it drinking a cup of tea in a saucer. He seems so smooth.
Yeah, he did.
It's difficult because he's got an aura about him that you can train all day long if you like. You ain't going to get an aura doing that. He's got that something about him. So it's lovely to see him just slotting such a tough game. When you play at home for the first game, it's hard enough because all the supporters are looking for your first mistake. When you're away from home and the other team's pounding you, like they did, he was actually sweeping up some of the other defenders. A couple of other defenders being pulled into different places, and he was doing that as well. For a guy to play his first game, I mean, he's either improved 300% or Arteta overprotected him. Which is it? I mean, he must have been so bad, and if he was so bad, how did he become so good? I mean, this guy, keep everything crossed, don't get carried away, could be the real deal, absolutely real deal. And with Gabriel next to him, they're 2 very young centre halves both strong, both good in the air, both decent on the deck. I mean, you're talking about a partnership that could last for years. And I'll just throw it out there. I think I threw it out there the other day with somebody that if Arteta would be given the same situation now, would he buy Ben White for 50 million or spend money on a midfielder? Because is Ben White, as good as he is, he had a great game the other night, but he's not a right back, let's face it. He did very well against one of the best wingers in the league.
Yeah.
Is he surplus to requirements at 50 million? Not if we paid 10 million for him. We could say he plays in, it doesn't matter. But for 50 million quid, and we haven't got that much money, supposedly, and if you saw Saliba saying, next year Saliba's going to come in the first team, why did he spend 50 million on Ben White? And I'm not knocking Ben White. I'm just saying perhaps the money could have been channeled elsewhere. We'll see. Another two debut, Jesus, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. What a player. I mean, he's slightly different to what I thought he was because he's playing in a different team, different role, and he was a kind of a bit part player for Man City, wasn't he? Nowadays, he's got the focus on him, and he's the focal point. Not a target man, but the focal point for most of our attacks. Sometimes, the beauty of it is, sometimes he does get the ball on the halfway line, but within 3 seconds, it's in the penalty box. That's the difference. Great to see him in the way he links up with people. And then the other one, Zinchenko, I mean, he had a great first half. Second half, I thought he slowed up a bit. But the first half, he was outstanding. He's got such awareness. He's always got the ability. When he gets the ball, he's got more than one option. You know that if something all of a sudden he's going to give it to someone and that's blocked, he's got two other options in his mind. He knows where the players are, and so therefore he's very rarely going to get caught in possession or give a stupid ball away. So all three were fantastic and really enjoyed it, and they should get better as time goes on.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, sometimes it's difficult, is it, when you've got that many players making their debut in the same game, and it happens a lot in the start of the season. Some of them take longer to settle in than others, don't they? And some of them hit the ground running, and some of them don't. Whereas in that game, it looked as though all three of them straight away. I mean, you make a good point about Ben White actually, because I was going to come on to that, because where does that leave him now? When Tomiyasu's fit, Tomiyasu's a better right back than Ben White. There's no question about that. Ben White did play well the other night against Zaha. No, I agree with you, he did. But, Tomiyasu is a much better right back than Ben White. Now, what happens to Ben White when Tomiyasu's fit? Are you going to drop Saliba after? I mean, yes, it's one game. Let's see how he does next 3 or 4 games first. Would you do that? I wouldn't at this point, because, one, I think he needs the game time in the Premier League to really adapt and to settle in. But from what he showed the other night, I totally agree. He was like a Rolls Royce defender, wasn't he? So calm, and when he got the ball, it was just like no effort at all. It looked like he wasn't trying. He didn't need to try, because he just read the game so well, and he just went, okay, you're not getting past me, I'm just going to take the ball off you, and I'm just going to pass the ball to somebody else, nice and simple. And that's what he did pretty much all through the game. It was just, I was sitting there watching him thinking, wow, this kid is something special, and that's on one game. Yes, it is only one game. Let's not get carried away, and let's not say he's the new Van Dijk or he's the new Tony Adams or he's new whoever. He's not. He's William Saliba, and he's had a great start. But what I saw from him in that game is really exciting, because he's the sort of defender that I think we've needed. The way he plays the game, especially next to Gabriel, because Gabriel's a different type of player, isn't he, to Saliba? Gabriel's a little bit more, I think he's a little bit more of a more physical defender overall. He doesn't seem to always read the game too well, Gabriel. He's often out of position, but he's strong, he's good in the tackle, he's good in the air. And Saliba kind of will complement that, I think, which is what Ben White was bought for that role. And I agree with you. Now, looking back on it, would we need to spend 50 million on a Ben White when we need to strengthen elsewhere in the squad? No, we wouldn't have done. And I'm sure, given what we know now, but a year ago, would Saliba have come in a year ago and done what he did on Friday? I'm not sure. Maybe he needed that extra year away, perhaps. We'll have to wait and see how it all works out. But at the moment, Saliba for me was fantastic. I mean, he got man of the match. He was brilliant. And let's hope that he can grow and become the player that he looked like he can be. And it would be so exciting, because what a fantastic game that was. His first game in the Premier League. He's 21 years old, is he? I mean, just incredible performance. And I mean, Mark's got a comment in the chat. He says Jesus is a scary signing, which puts you in competition for top 4 now. Exactly what you needed. He said he's gutted. He's a Tottenham fan, unsurprisingly a bit gutted that we've got a good player. I mean, Tottenham ain't had a bad window, but Jesus for me, he's a sort of he gave the performance on Friday that is what I was wanting from Lacazette. And Lacazette wasn't able to produce because he hasn't got the energy, he didn't have the pace, he didn't have the abilities one-on-one to take defenders on that Jesus has. So he's almost like a 100% upgrade on Lacazette, isn't he? He's younger, he's quicker, he's fitter, he's stronger, he's more direct, and he's given us something completely different. Yes, he didn't score, and that was a shame because he's in my fantasy team, but he is going to score goals. There's no doubt about that. You can see that, what a threat he was. And the way he worked hard to win the ball back, it's so key to the way that we want to play. So he was brilliant as well. And I agree. Zinchenko did fade out the game in the second half, whether it's a fitness issue or what, I'm not sure. He had a brilliant first half, and in the second half he struggled a little bit, got replaced, and Tierney came on and did well. So good competition there in the left back position. But yeah, 3 fantastic debuts. But the only concern for me, I mean, Neil, my concern in that game was the fact that we were in so much control for 25 minutes. Could have been 3-0 up, should have been 3-0 up in reality. And then we took our foot off the gas, which we did a lot last season, and almost cost us because Crystal Palace had 2 or 3 good chances, especially that one in the second half, the one-on-one. Ramsdale came to our rescue with a great save, actually. But those are moments against maybe better teams than Palace. If we drop that level, let a team get back into the game, we'll be punished. And we'll end up drawing that game or even worse. So that was a slight concern for me, the way that Palace were a decent team, don't get me wrong, it's a tough place to go, but we were in total control, wasn't we? The way we started that game, we looked like, for 20 minutes, I'm thinking we could win the league. I know, stupid to think that, but for 20 minutes, the way we played in that first 20 minutes was impressive, really, really impressive. The way we pressed them, the way we put them under pressure, created chances. And then we scored and then dropped off, and we've done that before too many times. It's like, are we not learning from that? And it almost cost us, didn't it? I mean, did that concern you a little bit, or did you think actually in the end it was a decent defensive performance and we've come away with a clean sheet away from home, got the second goal on a counter? It's almost a perfect away performance in the second half, wasn't it, in a way?
Oh yeah, no. When you look at it, at the end product, it's a great result. Without dissecting it, you can see that what a first game, how important it was, considering the mirror game that we had beginning of last year against Brentford. Very similar away. They had a lot to prove, being first time in the Prem, and it was a very oppressive atmosphere. You wouldn't have expected anything different from Palace, given what they did to us last season. So overall, an away win at Palace, first game of the season, is incredible, and we have to really emphasise that because we started badly last season, and then straight away we were thrown into the lion's den playing City and Chelsea. We were all Chelsea and City, and we were already on the back foot even before the season began. At least this time, we've already got the win under our belt, and then I think we've got winnable fixtures the next 3 or 4 games at least. And I think that win is going to give us the impetus to move forward and really capitulate on that first win, growing confidence, keep the momentum going. But no, I'm with you, Rich. So I'm the same. I saw that first 20 minutes, I thought, holy crap, we're going to win the league. I mean, no teams are going to be able to live with us. No, because it was a carry-on from the 2. I know people don't like reading too much into pre-season, and they're completely correct to think that way. But what I saw in this pre-season was something very, very different. The way I saw us play was, I mentioned it, and I know you didn't quite agree, but I said, no, I've not seen stuff like that from almost the Invincible period. Honestly, the way we were moving forward, it was more, what I was trying to relate it to, Rich, was the pace. We were so quick. It was frightening at times. I'm thinking, what team is going to live with us? Not many teams are going to be able to live with that. And it showed against Palace. We were in complete control. And they must have been bamboozled that. Hang on a minute. This is the team that we played only a few months ago, and we destroyed them. And look at this. And then all of a sudden, it started going a bit, as you said, last season. It's almost like this. It's still within our DNA that we get that goal and we kind of sit back. Why do we do that? I mean, just go for it. Keep the same. I know they can't continue that pace for 90 minutes. I'm not saying you can. No team can. Unless you're all on some sort of super serum or something. But it's hard to maintain that. So of course we'd expect to drop off at some point, but not straight after you score the first goal and almost like think, right, let's sit back now. You don't need to do that against when you're playing so well. If you're playing, if you're the underdog and you're struggling and you get a goal unexpectedly and then you sit back, I can understand that. But when you're actually in control, I don't see the point of sitting back. You just carry on with the same mindset. So it started concerning me. And then I've always thought Ramsdale is unbelievable. And then he made 2 mistakes. And that's when I felt that we started dropping. And I thought, Ramsdale, what are you doing? Your distribution normally is so brilliant. He made an example of that. There was one where he kicked it to the left. It was brilliant, spot on to feet. And then he did 2 errors, made 2 errors. And I thought, oh my God. And I did start getting jittery. I think for the next 20, 30, 40 minutes, from the first end of the first half to the second half, we were at times hanging on. It was just because of their end product. We survived. And I thought, and yeah, Ramsdale made up. He mitigated those errors with 2 fine saves, especially the second one was even better. That Anderson was destroying us with his long ball passes. He was literally destroying us. We didn't have an answer to it. But, you know, Ramsdale came to our rescue. But I'm going to have to say, it wasn't just Ramsdale. It's the chap that you mentioned earlier at the start. Saliba was unbelievable. He was a robot. He was a monster. Like you guys said, he's effortless. What he does, it's almost as if his mind knows exactly where the ball's going to be. And he's there before the attacker is. It's just unbelievable. But he does it with such smoothness and such calmness and such coolness. You're almost like thinking, is this guy taking the piss? And honestly, if he carries on in the same vein, he will be at Van Dijk levels, if not better. He will be. He's just incredible. And I think, just going on what you said earlier, why didn't we maybe start him a year? You know, could it have saved us the 50 million on Ben White? They're all valid points. You know what Melvin said, that, you know, we could have maybe invested that in a decent midfielder. And I think we do need a midfielder still. I'm worried about one of Partey Xhaka going missing. We're struggling again, so we do need that midfielder. I mean, I would just put this in, just add this to it. I think it might have been even a personal situation. There may be something going on between Arteta and Saliba. Maybe mentally he wasn't right. I don't think it was his talent and his abilities, because obviously that's there to be seen. He just may not have been ready, and maybe they thought that this was the right thing to do. Although from an outside perspective, hang on a minute, we paid 30, 35 million for him, and we keep loaning him out. What the hell's going on here? What rhyme or reason have Arsenal got to keep doing this? But actually, do you know what? I'm not even thinking about any of that now, Rich. Moving forward, as of that day, as of last Friday, he's our player now, and he looks the business. So let's just move forward with it and not worry. The Ben White conundrum, well, actually, guys, it's a great headache for Arteta to have. We got him, we got Tommy Asu, we've got Gabriel, we've got Saliba, we've got Tierney, we've got Zinchenko. What a back lineup we've got now. And he can try a 3 formation or a 4 formation. It doesn't matter. He can mix and match it. It's wonderful headache for him to have. I think they were all great players, to be honest. You know, Tierney looked good when he came on. He looked the old Tierney. So, you know, that's great. And I just think it was a really important win. It really puts us in good shape moving forward. And I can only see us getting better. I really can.
Well, I mean, that's got to be the hope, because there was, as you mentioned, as we've spoken about, you know, things that need to be better. You know, in other games, I say we could get punished for the way that we dropped off in that game against a good team. There's no doubt about that. Mark says there, you'll be top of the league at the end of August. Well, I mean, we did say last week that if we beat Crystal Palace with the run of games that we've got coming up, we feel quite confident that we may be top of the league at the end of August, which would be nice. And hopefully we'll be top of the league at the end of May as well, which would be better. But yeah, I mean, it is. We hopefully we will improve, because we are still quite we're a young team still. We know that, and we're almost a new team as well, because we've got these new players that have come into the team, and that always takes a little bit of time to see the best of it, doesn't it? You know, I say Jesus had a great game. He's going to improve. He's going to be more integral to our attacking play. And I say Zinchenko, as we said, maybe faded out the game. He's going to be able to offer us more going forward as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot to be positive about. And to be honest with you, the game pretty much went as well or better than we could maybe have hoped for before the start, to be honest. You know, bearing in mind what happened against them last season, and obviously what happened to us at the start of last season as well. So it was a really good night, a good Arsenal performance in the main. Yes, improvements need to be made in there.
Sorry, Richard, just sorry to interrupt you. And the other thing I'd want to just emphasize, just put out there is, we talked about 3 outstanding debuts. Well, I'm not even surprised. Saliba, maybe a tiny little bit surprised, but Zinchenko and Jesus, they're winners. They're winners. They've come from a team that have won practically everything apart from the
They
Champions
are.
League, and
Yeah.
and they are winners, and they've come and they know the Premiership, so they know the vigors and the strengths and what the Premiership is all about, the speed of the Premiership. They're winners, and that's going to be an infectious thing for us. It's gonna lift all the other players. All the other players around them are going to have to up their game to mirror it. So I think it's great.
You're 100%. Yeah, you're 100% right about that, and I just feel as though that's the one element maybe that we're lacking in the team, and I think that's why when we go 1-0 up in some games, we don't have that mentality to kill the game off. Man City would go on and get 2 or 3 goals in that first 25 minutes. The game's done, right? Liverpool would do the same when they're on form. That's what they do, and that's what the big teams do. The successful teams do, and I think that maybe we just lack that. Yes, Jesus is going to bring that as in. As you said, they're both winners. They know what it takes to win Premier Leagues, get to Champions League finals, all that kind of stuff, which is great. But they need to be able to get that into the other players, some of the other players as well, particularly some of the younger players who I don't feel have that win at all cost kind of mentality. Really, sometimes you can see it. I think maybe Saliba may well have. We'll see. He certainly seems as though he has at the moment. But some of the others, I'm not convinced that they do. And I think that. These are the games where that becomes more obvious, and it became obvious last season, lots of times, the season before as well. In games where we should have won comfortably, and in the end, we were hanging on a little bit in that second half at 1-0, wasn't we? We was hanging on for a 20-minute spell, and it was like I was thinking they're going to score, but luckily we did hold on and got the win. But you can't keep doing that. We're not good enough to keep doing that and getting away with it. We're not Man City and Liverpool. They can get away with it. We can't. So that was it. Yeah, maybe it is that winning mentality. Maybe you make a good point there, actually. And that's maybe something that we're lacking as a group. 1 or 2 players have got it. Maybe 3 or 4 players have got it. But as a group, we are a little bit short. And maybe the manager's a little bit short in that as well. And that's not his fault. It's just maybe what part of what he is. Not everybody's got it in them, have they? And maybe that's something that we need to improve on and we need to get right. Because if we do, that could make the difference between us being a very, very good team that can compete with the very best or being a team that's just going to fall short again. And that could be the difference because there's not, it's very small margins in top level sport anyway, as it is. And stuff like that could be the difference again. That's maybe what cost us last season a little bit, that just not having that right mindset really. But overall, we've got to be pleased, haven't we? 3 points on the ball strap, a clean sheet, away from home, great start. What more could we wanted, really? Other than winning 5-0, which we could have done, it went pretty much as well as we could hope for, which is a great start to the season. That's what we wanted, really, because, I worry about the first game. You want to get out of the way, and when you've won, you think, right, okay, we've got something to build on now. And as we mentioned, the next 4 or 5 games in the Premier League for us, yes, you can't take any game for granted. We know that. We've done that before, and it's bitterness. But when you look at the games, there is no reason why we can't win them. All of them, the next 4 games in the Premier League. We've got Leicester, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, is it? Can't remember what it is after that. But again, it's a game we'd expect to win. Everton, I think it might be. Is it Everton or is that after? I can't remember.
Everton, I think, yeah. I think it's Everton.
Yeah, we've got a run of games that you look at and you think, you know what? We could win all of them. And it's not often that you've been feeling like that in the last few years. There's always a game that you feel we're going to trip up. And you look at these next few games, I can't see one. And then it's after that, it's Man United away. And how they started the season, I'm not even worried about playing them at the moment. Things might change by the time it gets around. But, that's one of the good things. Melvin, for me, it's that looking forward to the games coming up, thinking, we can win these games. And it's not often in the last few years we've been able to feel like that, is it? Because there's always a game you look at and think, well, we're probably not, we might well trip up there. But looking at these next run of games, the way we're playing, you're thinking, wow, we could go on this run, couldn't we now?
That's confidence for you, isn't it? It's very big in life and in football, confidence, and we've got it in bundles at the moment. The first half hour of the game the other night was a continuation of our pre-season, and it was brilliant to see. I've got something a bit negative to say, though, and perhaps you'll say to me, no, you're being too negative, or it wasn't the case. Sitting there on Friday night at home, I was shouting at myself because no one would listen to me. Why was the manager, when we were getting battered, why did he take so long to make changes? We've got 5 substitutes now, and on that bench, we had 5 decent substitutes. We didn't have young kids that hadn't kicked the ball for us in the first team, like we had at the end of last season. And I just said, you've got to change something. Don't wait for something to happen and be, do it afterwards. You've got to be proactive, not reactive. And this is what really upset me the other night. I mean, I forgot all about it. Once that second goal went in, then I'm jumping up and down, and that didn't matter. But I'm telling you, for a big period of that second half, I was getting agitated that we weren't making changes, because that could make all the difference. Like you said, small changes in a game make all the difference. But we are where we are now, very happy. A great, not performance, a great result. Great result. We move on, and it's the team themselves must be very confident. They must feel like they can beat whoever's in front of them. Not saying they will, but they feel that. And if you go onto a pitch thinking you can beat the other team, you're 50% there before you kick a ball, and that's great to see. And it could happen. You know, listen. I'm going to take every couple to take a game. Leicester, I watched them I watched them last night. They do a 30-minute game thing with Brentford. I watched the 30-minute, and you know what? They're not the Leicester of old. Vardy is a year older. They haven't quite got it together, Leicester, for some time now. I thought they were quite a disappointing team last year. They underperformed. They were for what they've been the last few years. And I think this might continue. They've lost a couple of players. They've got one or two injured as well, it looks like, for the next few months. And they are there for the taking. If we go on and start on the front foot and play the football we can and be blinkered, if you like, and just go for it without being stupid, we've got decent defence. And I think we can afford to attack, especially at home, and play that high intensity, high game, high in the other person's half, block them, and also break quickly, not this sideways, backwards, have a little dance football. We could absolutely tear teams apart. And we can beat. I don't care now if teams have got 6 or 8 centre halves. It doesn't matter, because that's not the football we'll have to play. Yes, we score goals from corners because we've got big defenders to go up. But on an ordinary attacking wise, we don't need big forwards at the moment, because we can play this football where they interchange and the defenders be looking around their ankles. Where do they go? And it's lovely to see. Yeah, we can go in a run, but let's not get too confident, because you know what it's like. You get too confident. That's that expression. The higher the monkey climbs the tree, the more you see of his arse. So I don't want to get too confident. Just to take it, be confident, but not too confident. And I think we could enjoy ourselves next year. So I'm going on Saturday, and I tell you what, I cannot wait.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good on Saturday. You know, first home game's always a good occasion anyway, and especially when we're coming into it on the back of a good away win. Where, you know, we're near the top of the table, everything's sort of looking rosy at this moment in time. But just going back to that point you made earlier on there, Melvin, about the substitution situation. Now, I was the same as you, actually. I was thinking he can make 5 subs. Why not make, you know, we were under a bit of pressure. Clearly something needed to change. You could have brought Tierney on a bit earlier, perhaps. That might have been one change to have made. But I had the feeling, and I felt this last season quite a lot as well, that does Arteta trust his substitutes enough? I'm not sure if he does, because it's very clear, and it's been very clear since Arteta's came in, really, that he's got a very specific way of playing, right? And a very specific style. Leno has suffered this. That's why he's now left the club, because he couldn't fit into that system. Other players are the same. And I get the feeling that, you know, he's brought Jesus and Zinchenko. He knows from Man City. He knows how they work. He knows they can fit into his system. Does he trust the substitutes to be able to come on and play to the system enough? Does he trust them enough? I'm not saying they can't do it. I believe that they can. And I thought we had I agree with you, Melvin. I thought we had some okay subs that could come on and could have done a good job for us earlier on in that game. But does Arteta trust them enough? Because he doesn't often throw a substitute on very early in a game unless he's got someone on the bench who may be, you know, one of his so-called first 11 players that's on the bench for any reason. He might throw one of them on, but he won't throw his substitutes on. He doesn't tend to do it very much. He doesn't make many changes to the team. Does he trust them enough? And if he doesn't, that's a big worry, because we've got a long season. We've got 4 competitions, and these guys are going to have to play. They are going to have to play. All them players on the bench the other day will play big games this season in the Europa League, in the Premier League. A lot of them will have to play games as well, because we're going to have injuries, suspensions, all kinds of other stuff. And it worries me a little bit. Does he trust them enough? Because, as you said, 5 subs. Why not use your 5 subs? You know, it's a tough game away from home. First game of the season. Give players a rest. Don't risk them getting injured by overplaying them, you know. And I don't know, you know, I think if Smith Rowe was on the bench, I think he would have come on earlier if he was fit to come on. He wasn't on the bench. He didn't trust the others enough. And I get the feeling that maybe that could be an issue. and it's a big issue because you need your substitutes, don't you? Because as we said, they can make massive differences. You look at England women in the world in the Euros, right? Every single substitute that came on made an impact in that game, and that's how important they are. And I know it's slightly a different situation, but you've got to be able to trust your subs to come and do a job. If not, why are they on the bench? Why are they there? If you don't trust them to come on and be able to do a job for you, why have you got them? And I worry that could be the case. And I was worried about it last season. And you can understand it, as you said, there was a load of kids on the bench towards the end of last season. And you think, okay, yeah, would you want to throw them on in games that we were under pressure to win because of the top four? And fair enough, I got that. But on Friday, there wasn't that excuse. As you said, we had a decent bench, didn't we? Players that have played in the Premier League for us on numerous occasions. And he didn't trust them enough to bring them on early enough in that game when we're under pressure to ease a bit of pressure. You know, even Nketiah, who he trusts, he likes Nketiah. He didn't even bring him on to 10 minutes to go, whatever it was. Do you know what I mean?
Done all right, actually. Nketiah done all right when he came on.
He did do well. The subs that came on did well, didn't they? I thought Tierney played well when he came on. Yeah. Was it Lokonga came on, didn't he? Lokonga, again, that was right at the end. Right. You know, last couple of minutes, he didn't really get a lot of chance. But yeah, I couldn't understand why he didn't start making the changes earlier. And maybe this whole 5 substitutes thing is going to take a while to get your head around and to think, well, okay, we can make 5. We can make one early on. It doesn't matter because we've still got 4 more. I don't know whether that's an issue, but it does worry me a little bit. What trust he's got. I mean,
can I just add something to that? I mean, I might be wrong. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate, so please don't, have a go at me. It could be. This sounds ridiculous because I was worried. I was talking to, I think it was the Purely Arsenal WhatsApp, and I just said, "Has he made a substitute yet?" And this was like, it felt like it was in the 90th minute. And they go, "No," and I'm like, "What is he doing?" So yes, it did bother me. It worried me because I thought. We need a change and we need to protect some of these players. It is the first game and they played so well, at least especially the first 20, 25 minutes, the forwards I'm talking about. And then I'm thinking, what if someone pulls up with something or he's got to do something. But then when I'm just hearing both of you now, I'm thinking, is it because I don't think it's a issue with Eddie. He might be with somebody else, but not Eddie. He loves Eddie Nketiah. He absolutely loves
seems to. Yeah,
I agree. They gave him a brand new contract. They've given him the number. I know the shirt number doesn't mean nothing really, but they've given him an iconic shirt number. He must trust him to a certain degree, and actually he did deliver when he came in, as you guys just said. But could it be that he just wanted to give these guys because he probably thinks? I think that's his first team. That is his first 11, at least for the start of the season. And is he just trying to make sure he wants to get their fitness right to an optimum level? Because I remember when Wenger was in his prime, he would hardly make changes. And throughout the whole season, especially the winning seasons, we literally played, maybe 14 players at the very most. And I wonder whether he's with that mindset that he wants to really get them to their optimum fitness. Yes, he'll have to make substitutes there and here and there. But could it be that he just wants to run them out, give them a really good long exciting game? It could be, but no, I know what you're going to say, Rich, and I agree.
The problem with that,
trying to see. Go on.
I mean, the problem with that was last season. I remember when it was maybe we were halfway through the season, right? And he was picking the same starting 11 every week, right? And it's like, sooner or later, those players on the bench are going to have to be used, and they're not going to be ready because they've not played competitive football because they've been stuck on the bench and not coming on. And to me, now we've got 5 substitutes. You've got no excuse not to get players minutes on the pitch because when they are needed, they're going to be ready then because they play competitive football. They're coming on in the games. They can adapt to the pace of the Premier League, all that kind of stuff that you need to do, right? So. Yeah. To me, maybe he wants to get that first 11, but that wasn't even his first choice 11, I don't think, because Smith Rowe's still out. You'd imagine Smith Rowe's going to get to play at some point when he's fit. Tommy Asu, Tierney, these are all players that were missing. So it wasn't necessarily his first choice 11. And some of them are on the bench, some of them are still injured. So we'll have to see. You need your substitutes to be playing so that they get up to the pace of the games, so that they're ready to play.
That is true. Yeah.
Because if you suddenly get 3 or 4 injuries, and those guys on the bench are going to have to step in and play straight away. They're going to come straight into the team from the start, and they won't be ready if they've been stuck on the bench for 6 weeks because they've not come on because he hasn't brought them on for whatever reason.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It was a strange one. I was sitting there. Why has he made his sub? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It is a balance, and I think we need to, I don't know what the answer is, but the same last season, I don't think you made enough good use of the substitutes enough in last season, and it maybe cost us. And this season, there's no excuses, is there? Because we've got a bigger squad, and he can use 5 subs, so there's no excuse not to make those substitutes. It's funny because Jurgen Klopp was moaning about how tired his team were, and he didn't use all his 5 subs. It's like, what are you doing, mate? You can't moan about the fact that your players are tired when you're not using the subs that you can. It's just crazy. But anyway, let's hope that as the season goes on, that will change. But I totally agree, Melvin. I was that did make me think at the time. I was almost screaming at the telly, get someone on, make a change, because we were under pressure. Yeah, and he didn't until very late on. It kind of paid off, didn't it? Because he made the substitute, so we got the second goal. So maybe he'll turn around and say, I did it at the right time because it worked and we got the goal and we won. Maybe that's what he'll say. But yeah, it was getting to me a little bit at that point, thinking, what you're doing, we need some changes, come on. And I say he did bring Eddie on, didn't he, in the end, and Tierney, and that kind of did work to a certain degree. So we maybe let him off this time. But it is something we need to watch for, because we're not going to, as I said, we're not going to get away with that every single time. We're not good enough, unfortunately, to get away with doing stuff like that and playing in the way that we did in that second half and getting away with it every single week. Right, okay, that was Palace, a really, really good 2-0 win. We were top of the league for about 18 hours, whatever it was, which was nice. Enjoyed that very much. A bit longer actually, we were top of the league for, because Liverpool only drew, didn't they, the earlier game? So that was quite nice, because it meant that we were top a bit longer. But anyway, that was kind of nice. And we'll look at the Leicester game a little bit more detail a little bit later on. But what I wanted to look at now was there was some kind of documentary thing which hasn't really been publicised very much actually, and it started this week. I didn't watch it until Sunday. I think it was Sunday night. I didn't get a chance to watch it really. I have watched it. I'm assuming that you guys have watched it as well. So let's have a little chat about what we've made of the first 3 episodes so far. Now, for me, and I know everybody's different, everyone's got their own feelings about it, I actually felt quite uncomfortable watching it. And I know this is not maybe the best analogy, but it's the first thing that comes to mind. It's almost like, if you're walking on your parents having sex when you're a kid, it's uncomfortable. And that's how I felt. It's too much. It's something that's so important to you, something that is so close to your heart. To open it and expose it that much, to me, it was too much. I found it uncomfortable to watch. I've got to be honest, pretty much all the way through. I was almost like watching it like behind my hands like that, because that's how it felt to me. It was I didn't want to watch it, but I had to watch it because you have to watch it because it's Arsenal. But I didn't want to watch it, and I felt uncomfortable the whole time. I've got to be honest. And I'm not saying it wasn't enjoyable. Certain parts of it was, and certain parts of it were more uncomfortable than others. But that's how I felt overall. I just didn't really. It's not something that I can sit and relax and watch it. I'm really, really uncomfortable watching it the whole time, because it's almost like going into places that you don't want to be going into. It's almost like it's the holy grail kind of thing. You don't want to see it. You don't need to see it. I don't need to see all that, really. Arsenal's like I don't know what it is really, whether it's like this whole thing that you've lived your whole life through, and you never normally get that much access to stuff like that, really, to that degree. And do you need to? Do you want to? I don't necessarily think that I need to. Don't need to see all that. I'm not that bothered. What matters to me is what we see on the pitch, and maybe the interviews that the players give before and after the game, and maybe that kind of stuff. That's what I want to see. And maybe that's because that's what I've always seen, and I'm quite happy with that, comfortable with that. And then you suddenly going into places that you think, did I really need to see that? Do I want to see that? Do I want to see the players doing this? Do I want to see Aubameyang taking a piss out of Arteta for rubbing his hands and all that kind of stuff? Do I want to see that? I'm not sure if I do. I didn't feel comfortable with it at all at any point. And I was almost like, we watched one episode and Paula said to me, well, let's watch another one. I'm like, I don't know if I want to. And then we started watching the second one. At the end of the second one, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch anymore. Well, there's only one more left. She was going, oh, we'll watch it then. And I just didn't really want to watch it. I've got to be honest. And I sat through it. And some of it I enjoyed. I've got to be honest. Some of it I quite enjoyed, but most of it I didn't. Not because of what the content was particularly, just how I felt about it inside. I just didn't like it, and maybe that's just me. I don't know, but I mean, it was. There were bits of it which were good. There were bits of it which made me think Arteta is just, what is he doing? Don't know what, he hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Out of his depth, all that kind of stuff. There was other stuff that I looked at and thought, you know what, that's actually quite good, but I didn't like it. Melvin, what did you make of it overall? I mean, maybe you might have been able to look at it a little bit more as a documentary. I couldn't see it as a documentary. To me, it felt like the camera in my house almost. Looking at, I didn't like it.
No, listen. I love watching it, not necessarily for the content. I love everything Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
So if I see something walking across the road wearing an Arsenal scarf, I'll look at that. But there were times I thought were quite cringy. I'd say what I thought was quite cringy. I'll tell you what, two things I couldn't stand. Number one, I thought that the owner, son, was the owner's Josh. I thought Edu, and the third guy, which I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I'm bad at names.
Is it Vinay you're on about?
That's it. The three of those, I thought it was cringy. They were too touchy-feely with the players. It was all
and with Arteta.
Yes, and Arteta, yes. I didn't like that at all. It felt, this isn't right. This is there's certain spaces between people, right? And they didn't have any space between them, if you know what I mean. And I thought that's wrong. For so many reasons, that's wrong. Also, what I thought was quite cringy was seeing, not because he's left the club, but Aubameyang getting out of that gold car, right? And wearing that gold.
That was embarrassing, actually.
What are you wearing? What is that? I mean, are you taking training seriously, mate? You turn up a training wearing that. Are you in the right frame of mind? Really? Is that what you're trying to tell us? I mean, where did you go? Was that why you were late for training one day? You were trying to look for a gold suit. I mean, come on. I really thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah. And that was embarrassing. That was,
Yeah. But as I say, I watched it. I had a great conversation with Jerome afterwards because we watched it similar times. So we were making our own, chatting to each other. What do you think of that? But at times Arteta, I thought was too deep. The mind games were too deep.
Yeah.
Very
that thing. Well, what did you make of that bit? Well, I think they were all sitting down having breakfast or lunch or something, and he was asking about something to do with numbers or something with Cedric. Do you remember that? It's almost like he was trying to psychoanalyze the players when they were having their dinner. I'm like, what are you doing? Just let them get on with it. You're not their psychologist. You're their football manager. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. There are a couple of things I thought were a bit strange, and also I'm surprised that Arsenal would have wanted, because they must have had some control of what goes out, for people to see that. I mean, it's bad enough I see it as an Arsenal supporter, but I've had a couple of Spurs friends phone me up and had a dig about a couple of things.
Yeah.
And one of them, I'm seeing tomorrow, funny enough, he said to me, "Cool, you must have been really critical." I said, "Not really." Then I thought, well, hold on a minute. I can see where he's coming from. Because he mentioned a couple of things. Not the gold one he never mentioned, or the other thing about the touchy feeling. He mentioned a couple of other things. I thought, well, yeah. I mean, the thing he did mention, I'll tell you, and at the time we all loved it because we're all happy. But I understand where people get pissed off when we celebrate after beating Spurs at home in the dressing room.
I hated that. I absolutely hated that.
I think that's totally wrong.
I said that. I said that to Paul when I was watching it. I said, what are they celebrating? What have we done? Nothing. We've beaten a team that we've beaten a million times before. We always beat Tottenham at home. What are they celebrating like that for? That was embarrassing as well. I actually felt embarrassed for them. And I felt embarrassed for Arsenal to actually put that on the telly when we've just beaten a team that we beat regularly every single season. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you acting like that? What have we achieved by doing that? Nothing. We didn't achieve anything.
I'd probably accept it if we go this season away at Anfield and beat Liverpool 3-0. I'd probably go, you know what, all right, not great, but I can kind of accept it.
No, but talking about Anfield, though, Melvin, right? Obviously, the whole preparation for that game, the one we lost 4-0 in the league, right? The whole preparation to that was Arteta's fear of Liverpool, right? That's what it was based on. He had a bad experience. We was going to put that bad experience on the players. No wonder we lost 4-0. They would have gone there petrified of playing at Anfield. You know, the way that he prepared the team, playing "You'll Never Walk Alone" on the training ground on speakers. It's like, what are you doing, mate? They played at the beginning of the game. That's it, for 2 seconds. Don't play it for the whole of training. It's irrelevant. And then you went there saying, "Oh, I've had a bad experience at Anfield before. We lost 5-1." It's like, no, don't tell the players that before we're playing them there. You want to tell them, no, we're going there. We're going to play our game. We're going to beat them. Don't turn around and say, well, I'm really scared of playing them. Please don't make me play at Anfield.
All I saw was red shirts everywhere. All I saw was red shirts everywhere. He said, I thought to myself, what do you reckon you're going to see when you go out there? You're going to see red shirts.
Of course you are. It's like, what was he thinking of then? What went through his mind to think that's a positive thing to give to your players before you play that game?
Different, Richard. I think he's trying different things and trying to be different. It's probably the wrong
I don't know. Literally, if I'd seen that, if we'd seen that footage before the actual game, right, I would have guaranteed that we'd lost that game by a big score. You knew
I
you
got that
would.
levels, mate. I tell you.
Yeah, of course you would. It's like, what sort of preparation's that for your team? Come on. I mean, they're young players, a lot of them, right? They're young players, and they don't need to be told about how difficult it is to play at Anfield, how scary it is to play at Anfield. They don't need to know that. They need to know that if we play our game, we can take our game to Liverpool, we can exploit their weaknesses, and we can get a result. That's what they need to be told. Not, oh my God, I lost 5-1 there when I played. It's like, come on, no one cares. No one cares about that.
Having said that, Richard, other games when he came, I was quite impressed with him. Though, I was saying he was. I was
some of them.
I'm not really getting up. Hold on a minute. You're a little bit. You're getting it bang on here. I can understand where you're coming from. But
some of them I agree. Yeah. Some of them I thought he handled them well. He prepared the team well for certain games, 100%. And there was other games when you saw the performance and the result afterwards. You think, well, that makes sense now. It makes sense now. I can't wait to see that the team talk before we played Tottenham away and Newcastle at the end of the season. No doubt he made them scared to play Tottenham away. Oh, we haven't won away at Tottenham for years. Last time I played there, we lost. So that's probably what he said against when we played Tottenham away. Do you know what I mean?
What I was very impressed with about team talk, and perhaps other managers do it, but he was quite honest with the players. I thought when we came in 1-0 up against Everton, he might have gone, you know what, boys, you're doing well, 1-0 up, keep it as it is. No, we slaughtered them, and we should have got slaughtered. I thought that was very good of him, because what you can't blame him for that performance second half, because he absolutely slaughtered them and told them what they had to do. I thought that was excellent when he did.
No, he did, yeah, he did. But then I don't know, I got the impression a little bit. For a lot of the sort of stuff that was happening before games and during games and stuff like that, and afterwards, that he's too nice. In some ways, he's too nice. He's almost trying to take away all the nasty things from those players to make life easier for them, right? When sometimes what you need a bit of the Alex Ferguson. You need to go in there and you need to tell them that they're not good enough. They're not playing good enough. They need to do better. They're representing this great club. And I never heard him say that once. I never heard him say once how important it is to represent this club and to go out there and play for those. Well, not really him. The photographer did, not him. Saying how important it is to go out there and play for the Bears, to play for the club. He never said that once. Even when we was losing to Everton, that's what I'd have been talking about. And they're letting themselves down, they're letting their families down, letting the club down, letting the fans down that have travelled. You know what I mean? Yes, to me, he's got to be harder on them sometimes. I think he's too soft with them, actually, when it comes to stuff like that. That's that winning mentality again, isn't it? Not accepting. I'm not accepting you play like that. I'm not accepting it. And he seems to have accepted it. Okay, I think he did. Overall, that was the impression I got. Even when we played not so well, he seemed to accept it. And then we lost 5-0 to Man City, and Josh is shaking his hand. Yeah, okay, I'll take it. See, this is all right. Don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? We've just lost 5-0. We lost 3 games in a row, bottom of the league. But it's all right. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm not going to sack you because I'm not going to. So don't worry about it. To me, what he should have been saying to him was, things have got to improve, mate. You've got to improve this now. I'm giving you 5-10 games.
That sword, Richard, there's 2 edges to that sword. You don't want to kick a geezer when he's down. It's all about confidence. I don't think he would have been right. I disagree with you. I don't think it would have been right when it was slaughtering. I don't think that's the right way.
No, not slaughter, but give him some sort of... Give him something to say, look...
Bottle of champagne the next day, I agree. But he shouldn't have slaughtered him. You know what I mean? I think that's... I think that, he knew... He didn't have to be told that he was in a funny position. He knew he was in a crap position. The team knew it as well. I think sometimes you've got to let it go a little bit and give a little bit of freedom. Because I know I've been in situations at work where I've worked in a team, 3 of us once, and we were having a nasty time, horrible. And the governor's called us in, and he was as nice as pie. And we shook our heads and thought, what is that all about? And we had, all of a sudden, by coincidence, everything went up. Just the whole thing changed. And sometimes you need that backing. I know, I know sometimes you've got to slap the manager, but I don't think really the first 3 games that it was the manager's fault really that we lost. I think there were other issues that were happening at the club at the time with not being fit, certain players, that we had the bug. We're playing 2 of the allegedly best teams in Chelsea, I fancied for the league last year, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
And when they played against us pre-season and they played against us on the first Saturday home game, they looked outstanding. And I thought this team, especially they just brought Lukaku, looking at. So for me, once we got beat by Brentford, and I didn't know everything about Brentford, about people not being well and all that, it's not as if I thought after 3, what is this manager doing? I thought, what is the club doing rather than the manager?
Yeah. No, I did as well. Yeah. No, but I mean, he's responsible for results, isn't he? And I just felt as though Josh was too nice to him. And then Arteta subsequently was too nice to the players when sometimes they didn't deserve that. And I know he's been harsh on certain players, as we're going to find out, I'm sure, in the next episode when it comes to the Aubameyang whole thing, when that all kicks off, which we're going to come to, aren't we? But I don't know. I just feel as though there's some sort of mediocrity inside the club that's being accepted too easily, or it was at that particular point. I mean, whether that's changing now, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But that's the overriding impression that I got. The mediocrity was being accepted too easily, both from the manager to the players, from the board to the manager, and everywhere. It seemed to be accepted too much. That the standards of the club didn't matter, or the past standards of the club. Thierry Henry had a couple of appearances on there, didn't he? And some of the things that he said, it's like, he gets what it means to play for Arsenal and to win and be successful. And I don't think that a lot of those people involved at the moment do. And that's the overriding thing that I got from those first 3 episodes. And that may well change later on. I don't know. As it changes now, we'll have to see. But that was the overriding emotion that I felt from it a little bit, which was disappointing, really, because you want the club to have more ambition than that. Than they certainly seem to show for most of those episodes that we've seen so far. For me, they didn't seem to have that ambition to be the best. Which to me, Arsenal, even when we wasn't very good on the pitch, we always had the ambition to be the best. We treated everybody the best, didn't we? The way that when we was at Highbury and all that kind of stuff, the way that everybody used to say Arsenal were the best. They treat everybody the best. Everything was done in the best possible way to create that winning environment. And I'm not sure if that's still the case anymore. Really, it didn't appear to be from what I saw of that. And I know it was a difficult part of the season, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, Neil, what did you make of all of that then? Because you probably saw it a lot more positively than I maybe did. Because I did watch a lot of it like this. I've got to be honest. So I maybe missed you,
Richard. I'm still reading from your comment earlier. I still know how to follow from that on that. What you said.
Well, that's just to me. It was too much. It was too much. It's more than you want to see.
I've lost my train of thought. No. Oh my god. Okay, right. I'm going to try and calm down. She's calm down. I actually didn't think it. I hear you guys, and actually, do you know what, Rich? I think you and I are very alike. I'm very old school in the sense that this kind of stuff shouldn't be advertised. It's almost like sacred, and it's leave that mystery.
Yeah,
there.
Yes, exactly it. Yeah.
Leave that mystery. What they do, how they deal with their players, how they deal with the board, how all the interactions between all of that's none of our business really. We're only focusing on, as you said, the results on the pitch and the performances on the pitch. That really should be our focus. And this is exactly how I was thinking last season when it was announced. I was like, what are we doing? Why are we getting involved in this bollocks? Just because everyone else in the world is doing it now, why do we have to do it? And it's like, I was livid at the time because I thought we should be focusing on our results and our performances, not on a documentary. We should, secondly, we should be focusing on trying to break into that top 4, and then that silly announcement of Arteta getting his extended contract even before he'd secured top 4. And I thought that, and Melvin was bang on the money when he said, you know what, I think that's to do with the documentary, and I would not be surprised if we see that later on in the series. So for all those reasons,
no, we will. I am
completely with you, both of what you said. But however, me being me, I watched it anyway, and I wasn't expecting anything. But I actually was pleasantly surprised, and I don't know why. I actually don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. But there's little snippets that I liked. I actually loved how Ramsdale's mum and dad. I'll go more into the people's. How Ramsdale's mum and dad were so
hilarious.
proud. Hilarious, because he wasn't. I don't like to swear on these things, but I think when he was watching his first game, he goes, "Oh fuck, this boy's gonna give me a heart attack," and he walked off. Didn't he? It was so funny.
His dad was a star of that program. He was a star by a mile.
That was great, and and that thing you touched on, Thierry Henry, he made a really good point. He goes, I look at this team, and actually, the only 2 people I see wearing, I don't know what words he used, what phrase about Arsenal being on their foreheads. He only mentioned Saka and Emma Smith-Rowe, so that was quite poignant actually, what he said there. But there were a lot of aspects of it which I did like, and I kind of started adhering to it, and I don't know why, but I agree with you. There was a lot of cringe. I'm just thinking whether they showcased over and his gold car and his gold. Maybe because that's leading on to a story that eventually we're not tolerating that nonsense and we're going to get rid of him. So you've got to remember, we're only, as you rightly said, we're only 3 episodes in. We could see Arteta lose his shit with the players. We could see Arteta say, hang on a minute, this badge means something. I'm not accepting it. So we haven't seen the whole story yet. And you've also got to remember, I know this thing about this touchy-feely between Josh and Edu and all of that, but we're only seeing what's edited. They might have cut out a lot of negative stuff because they were thinking, we don't want to put too much over, emphasize it with negative stuff. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. But overall, I just think there were some moments in there which I really liked. There was a couple of other bits. Seeing, I think they interviewed Tavares, didn't they? Because he was very quiet, he was very kind of insular, and then he came out and he came across as a really nice guy, and I like that. And I know at the end of the day, I think that is what makes the world tick. If you've got nice people, but you can't always be nice to be successful, especially in a competitive football match. I like to see some nastiness as well, and that's the way I am. But I do like seeing that other side of people where they're actually really decent people, and so there was bits in there which I really liked, and I think I connected with. But we're not going to get it being perfectly, palatable to us. There are going to be moments of cringe. There's going to be, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, guys, it's all about money, and they're going to want to make it as in that way. The dynamic is going to be attributed. Hang on, we need to sell this series. We need to get more and more clicks. So they're going to put stuff like that in there. So, but overall, I wasn't that displeased. I mean, I know what you're still making me laugh from it. I know where you're coming from. So I completely get what you're saying. But for me, it wasn't that bad. I can watch it. And I will watch the whole thing. I will carry on watching it.
Well, I'll have to now. I mean, yes, I will watch it all now. I will watch the rest of it when they come out. But yeah, it was. And for me, it was unnecessary to see a lot of that stuff. We don't need to see it, and that's the point. I mean, yes, I've watched the other ones on some of the other clubs. I watched the Tottenham one, the Man City one, all that kind of stuff. And you can watch the other clubs, and you can kind of enjoy it. I could enjoy those ones because it's not your club, so it doesn't matter. You can laugh at certain things, you can get angry at certain things, whatever it is. You can enjoy it for what it is. But when it's Arsenal, when it's that important to you personally, it's very, very difficult to enjoy it. And yes, I maybe didn't take too many positives from it at all. I did like the fact that Arteta seems to treat Bukayo Saka as his little child, actually, doesn't he? And in fact, he seems to treat players as though they're children quite a lot, actually, as though he's a teacher teaching them at school. That's what sometimes he came across like to me, not treating them like adults, like they're children.
But I think that's a hangover from Wenger, because I think Wenger used to be a father figure to a lot of the players, and Wenger used to be
quite possibly,
didn't he?
Yeah,
so,
quite possibly.
It could be a hangover from that. I don't know.
Yeah, and I did kind of. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to look on it more critically because it's our club. You look at the other clubs ones, you just laugh at them, don't you? If you look at Jose Mourinho making a twat of himself, it's hilarious. But when it's Arsenal, it's like actually that angers me because everyone's seeing that.
No, I get it.
Everybody's seeing Aubameyang turn up looking like a twat.
Yeah.
Everybody sees it. Everybody sees Arteta rubbing his hands together like this to try to make us win a game. Everybody sees that, and it makes us look like a laughing stock, and I don't like it. And we did win that game, funnily enough, which was great.
We won that game.
Let's get this clear. We didn't win the game because of that, or we would have done it every single game, and we'd never lose another game. So it wasn't
every
because
time you ask me a prediction, I'll be doing that when I give my prediction.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Do you know one other thing? But one other thing, I don't know whether you guys agree with me. I did like seeing though. Do you know when Ramsdale conceded he lost his clean sheet record? He was fuming. We won the game. He walked into the dressing room absolutely.
That's goalkeepers,
and do you know what? But I like that, Rich. I like that.
I do. Yeah,
the fact that he's won the game, he's still upset. The fact that he's let one goal in it. I love that, and that's why I love the player. So I really do like Ramsdale. I think he's great. I know he's still got a lot to learn. He's got a bit of growing up to do, but I think he's great for us. I really do. Really believe in him.
I mean, I hate to think how his father was on the Friday night when he did that kick against that forward and then he went in. He's probably in hospital now, having been, having a heart pump. I mean, really, I'd hate to be the father. I mean, I can imagine what he actually said and did when his son did that. Yeah. Oh my God, no. But he should be, like someone said, he should be on Gogglebox, the old man, shouldn't he? He'd be brilliant on Gogglebox.
Yeah, he should be. He's absolutely brilliant. To me, he was a star in it, actually. He's the one. he's the one person that I came out actually thinking, yeah, mate, you'll do for me. I'll watch you again because he's brilliant. But yeah, I mean, there was some nice moments. I'm not saying there wasn't, but it's almost like they're nice moments that you don't really want to see. I didn't particularly want to see, So, but I will watch the rest of it, I suppose, and I probably feel the same, hiding behind a sofa for most of it. But anyway, it is what it is. It's done. Hopefully, it won't. We won't do anything like this again.
It's not Doctor Who the Daleks, Rich.
Yeah,
well, it feels like it. It feels like it is sometimes. That's what it kind of felt like.
Disclaimer: this is not real. The only problem is it is real.
It is real. That's what I mean. That is the problem with it. If it wasn't real, I wouldn't care. But it is real. That's the worrying thing, isn't it? Some of it was like, wow, okay. But anyway, it's done now. There's other episodes to come, and I'm sure that we'll watch them in the same way that we watched the previous ones. And I don't know, we'll get through it together. We'll have to get through it together. Rub our hands together just to make it even better. So yeah, but that was it was not really the most enjoyable couple of hours I've spent. But anyway, it has to be done. It has to be done. Anyway, right. So that was that then. Really, when we've seen some more episodes, maybe we'll talk about it again because it might change it. We might feel differently about it as it goes on. Maybe it'll be slightly different. I don't know. But I found it very difficult to watch personally. So before we finish, then what we need to do quickly is we have got a game on Saturday. It might seem a long way off, but I'm looking forward to it. Obviously the first home game against a team that maybe have got a few issues. Now, I did hear, I don't know if it was yesterday, apparently Leicester are the only team not to have bought any players in this summer window so far. And there's still time left, and I'm sure they will. A goalkeeper possibly might be one on top of their list as they've lost Kasper Schmeichel. But that is obviously for them, would be a massive concern, I would imagine. That they've lost some players, they haven't bought anybody, they've got injuries, as Melvin said as well. They've come into the season a little bit of disarray, and that kind of showed when they threw away a 2-goal lead yesterday against Brentford, a game they should have won, and they ended up drawing. They could have lost. They do seem to have a few issues coming into this game, which may well play into our hands a little bit because we started the season well. We're playing a team that's got a few problems, so it's probably a good game for us, coming at a good time for us. We don't know. They may buy some players during this week. We'll have to wait and see. But as things stand at the moment, I would imagine we're going to start this game as pretty strong favourites, Melvin. I mean, Leicester don't have a great record away at Arsenal. I know they did win a couple of years ago when there was no fans and all that kind of stuff, and we're having a few issues. But they don't very often get a result against us at home, do they? So we'll be starting massive favourites to get our second win, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, you can't always go on records, but let's face it, the only time, even when they won the league, we beat them at home.
Yeah,
we beat them at Highbury, and not many teams beat them at home that season. They had a great record away from home, Leicester. No, we're big favourites. We are big favourites. Hope the players just have confidence and nothing more. Go in there with confidence, play our way, and we should be all right. We should make chances. We've got players to take the chances. We're not going to make 1 or 2 now like we normally used to do and miss them and go, well, that's it, 0-1 or 0-0. We'll make 5 or 6 chances a game, I fancy now. Decent chances I'm talking about, not half chances. And I think we might take 2 or 3 of them. If you're asking for a prediction, I'm going for 2-0.
2-0 again. We beat them 2-0 twice. Both
it's our game to get beat. All right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. No excuses. Yeah. It's our game to get beat. If we do right, we win. If we mess up, we get beat. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. It is our game to win, definitely. Do you think there'll be any changes to the lineup? I know maybe there's a couple of injuries that still we don't know about at this moment in time, but do you think you'll make a lot of changes to the team, or do you think it'll be roughly the same 11? Maybe Tierney, maybe starting left back, perhaps?
I don't think he'll play Tierney left back. I think he's giving him 10 minutes. He probably might give him 30 minutes this week. You don't know. He's going to hopefully bring him back slowly, get his stamina up, match fitness up. I think he'll play the same 11, bang on. I really do. I don't think there's any reason to make any changes. I don't think it's take touch with any injuries or anything. Not that I saw anyway the other day.
No.
And I think start as we were before and hopefully get a few more people on the bench that haven't been fit yet. I'm talking about your Smith Rowe. I don't know how far off Smith Rowe is. I don't know how far. I know he's been training Tommy is, and I don't know how far is Vieira is. But hopefully, I'd like to see at least 2 of them on the bench this week. Not to come on necessarily, but to give everyone the confidence and them the confidence that they can come on if need be.
Yeah, no, it'd be nice to see, particularly Vieira. Actually, it'd be nice to see him in the squad, wouldn't it? Finally, when he gets himself fit, that'd be nice to get him on the pitch so you see what he can do actually as well. I mean, Neil, what are you anticipating for this Leicester game then? Because obviously they have, as we said, they've got a few. They seem to have a few issues, don't they? You know, they've not bought anyone. They've lost a few players. They don't look as though they've dropped down. Obviously, last season they didn't have a great season in the league, did they? Is it? You know, are they going to struggle this season potentially?
What can you see coming, Rich? My prediction. What can you see coming? You know,
it was the Leicester game last season that you did that, wasn't it? Actually?
Yeah. Like you guys said, there's never a better time to play them. I think they're in probably the worst position they can be at the minute. I can't, even if they make some signings this week, are they going to throw them straight in against Arsenal? Not sure. Don't know. I think the way we're playing, the way they are, the position that they're in, there's only one team that can beat us on Saturday, and that's ourselves. If we get complacent, I have, you know what, I've always said it. I've said obviously I don't like to lose, but if we lose, I'd rather lose by being beaten. I would hate to lose from us making a silly mistake. That's what annoys me about sometimes some of our performances of recent times. You know, we should not make any mistakes. We should
just not, or not turn up.
Thank you. Exactly.
Being too negative.
There you go. I want to see us not be complacent just because we've had a good pre-season, because we had a good win against Palace. I just, if we can go in there respecting them, but knowing that we are well capable of beating them, play to our strengths, we'll be fine. We will be fine. I cannot see a change to the lineup. I think I agree with Melvin. I think he might, if we're doing well, I mean, you'll know from my prediction, we probably will be doing well according to me, then he will bring on Thierry probably for an extended period. But I can see the same lineup. I personally cannot foresee any problems with this game, just other than ourselves. I just really can't see anything other than a win. And that win, my friends, 6-0. We put 5 past them last season, we'll do 6 this. Yes.
I think you gave that on the pod, didn't you? 6-0?
Yes, I did. And I can't change it. Why not? We put 5 past them last season, and I'm sorry, from what I've seen, we're a better team this season. We are. Arguably.
Fair enough.
I really can see it. I can see Jesus getting his debut goal for us at home. I mean, in games proper. I think he might score 2 or 3. I'll tell you what concerns me, and I said it on the other pod. I just want Martinelli to score more goals, and if he does that, he's going to be. I've always thought he's going to be an outstanding player, guys. I think he's got everything. He just needs to score more goals, and I know, maybe if he does all the work that leads to goals, you'll take that all day long. But I think for himself, I'd like to see him score more goals. I'd like to see both him and Jesus on the score. Well, I don't really care who scores as long as we score, but it'd be nice for them to both be on the score sheet. And I want Odegaard to have more confidence in his finished end product as well, because he's a fantastic player. I think his end product just needs to be sharpened up a little bit, because we know he can do it. Was it that game, our last game last season, where he scored that amazing goal? And it was just in slow motion, but it was so accurate and so well taken.
He rolled it into the corner.
And so we know he's capable, and I just want him to be on the score sheet, or at least hit the target a bit more often. And like, he hesitated, didn't he, against Palace? He had that wonderful chance. He should have taken the shot. And what's he trying to do? Why is he doubting himself? Those are the kind of areas which concern me more than anything else. Just have that a little bit more confidence to have that end product. But no, 6-0. Sorry, I'm not changing. 6-0.
Just very quickly with Odegaard, I hope that's his worst game of the season.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it wasn't so much he had a bad game. It was more that he just didn't influence the game at all, did he? He didn't have no influence on it whatsoever. Well, he was neat and tidy with his passing at times, but he didn't influence the game, and he had a big chance and he should have shot, and he didn't, because he didn't trust his right foot.
Listen, he's a good footballer, but I'm going to be quite critical of him here on 2 things. First of all, I thought that Saka was very quiet because he was isolated. And why was he isolated? Because Odegaard wasn't anywhere to be seen. That's number 1. And number 2, where Odegaard is brilliant, he's closing down the oppo in their half. He wasn't doing any of that. Wasn't getting anywhere near them. He seems to have lost the other night a little bit of momentum. And it might be just one of those things. People can't play top of their game every game. As I say, I hope that was a one-off.
Melvin, do you think it could be that he's officially captain now? Might have had an effect on him mentally.
Could have been. I don't know.
It shouldn't. But...
He shouldn't do. He's captain for his country.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I suppose it is a little bit more pressure, maybe being named permanent captain. Has been last season. He was just captain temporarily, I guess. When maybe that is a little bit more pressure. I don't know. Maybe that is any better. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he was very, very quiet in that game. He didn't really contribute much at all, did he? It's almost like you forgot he was playing most of the time. The only time you saw he was playing was when he had that big chance and didn't shoot. When he should have done and scored. So yeah, it wasn't his greatest game. And yes, if that's his worst game of the season, I'm sure we'll be quite happy, really, because the worrying thing would be if this was to become more of a regular thing. But we know he's a good player. We know what he can bring. Obviously, Arteta 100% trusts him because he's made him captain. So the signs there are good. It's just that yes, he needs to. He does need to have a little more confidence in front of goal because he can do it. He scored 6 or 7 goals last season, didn't he?
Good goals as well. Yeah,
they were good goals. Most of them were decent goals. Yeah, so he's got it in him definitely, and we know he's a very, very good player, a very intelligent footballer. Got a great left foot, and yes, I thought for being captain against Crystal Palace, that wasn't a great night for him at all. But hopefully, it's a one-off, as we said, and if he scores. If he scores on Saturday, that'll be great, won't it? We'll be more than happy. Obviously, we can't finish on Leicester without talking about Yuri Tielemans, of course, who there's still links that we may be signing him. At this moment in time, I can't see Leicester selling any more players when they're not buying anybody, and they've already lost a few as it is. I'll be amazed if they sell him to us in particular, but to anybody. I mean, did you think that we might still be able to get Tielemans, Melvin, or do you think that might depend on if Leicester can actually bring players in first?
I don't know where I heard it I was listening to a poll, whatever it was. They're saying that Leicester have to sell before they can buy. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's number one. And I think we can get him. If we are going to get him, they're not going to sell him to us when we play him.
No.
So if we're going to get him at all, it'll be this week. Next week. Next week. They're not going to sell him this week after we play them. So I think I'd like to get him. Obviously, he's a quality player. But there should be no reason. I mean, he wants to come. We want him. Are we talking about a couple of £1 million? I don't know. They don't want a player on their books that doesn't want to play for them. So and they need. Not untold. Someone said they need money for him to invest, which I can't believe because they've done some fantastic sales over the years, Leicester. Fabulous sales, really. Now, while we're talking about Leicester, before you finish, this is a Leicester programme. From 1963-4, right?
Wow.
Now, Richard, what's so special about it, dear? Don't say. You know what's a special one?
Your first game?
Wasn't your first game, was it? Because your first game was Aston Villa, wasn't it?
Yeah, Aston Villa. No, this is not a personal thing, no. I know I like talking about myself, but that's not the... you should get this, Richard. Come on.
It wasn't a game with the lowest ever attendance, was it?
No, that was Leeds.
That was Leeds,
oh my
God. What season was it? 63, did you say?
3-4. That's the clue.
63.
Don't start Googling it, Rich.
I don't know, was it Billy Wright's first home game?
It's more about the year that's very important. I'll tell you.
Was it the winter when it snowed all the time? Was it that winter when it snowed?
No. It's something about the specific date. I'll tell you what it was. Oh. It's 50 years to the day that we played our first game at Highbury, and Leicester were the team that we played.
Oh, of course they were. Leicester, yeah, they were. Yeah.
Oh,
right. Yes, that was 50 year. That was a 50th anniversary.
Commemorative programme.
That is in great condition as well. Gosh.
Wow. That is it, mate. I bet that's worth a few quid
now. Wednesday. That'd be on my show Wednesday.
Wow, what a great bit of memorabilia that is from Arsenal's history. Yeah. So that was the 50th anniversary of being at Highbury.
50 years, 50 years.
Wow, that's nice.
Got beat 1-0.
Did we? That must have been the last time Leicester won at Highbury, was it? Because they didn't win too many other times, did they? But wow, I mean that is amazing.
I've got one for you. Another question. Sorry to drag this on, gentlemen.
No, go on.
Guess who scored their winner?
Save it till Wednesday.
Who scored Leicester's winner? Was it Frank McClintock?
Yes.
Oh, get in.
Oh,
Just because I know he played for Leicester, that was all.
Oh, well done, Rich.
Brilliant.
Maybe that was why we bought him, perhaps, because we make a habit of doing that these days, don't we? A player plays well against us and we buy him. So
when we bought him, Richard, he was a midfield player for not a defender, a midfield player for Leicester. And then about a couple of months into his Arsenal career, he was still Leicester's highest goal scorer.
Was he?
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, I know that this will come up on your show sort of later on when we get maybe to the later 60s, maybe. Some great stuff. But I mean, that program's amazing, actually.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
You've got to come on at some stage. Neil, you're coming on at some stage. You've got to pick a good year.
Oh, my God.
Not now, in the future. You might come in 1990 or something. So I'm doing all the years up to 2006.
I was saying, Neil wasn't even born in the 1960s, was you, Neil?
No,
that's right. I turned the 1990s probably.
Yeah, 70 was my birth year, and I really started taking a proper interest. I would say early 80s. I mean, I was a fan and watching them in the 70s, but it was more of my brother supported Arsenal, so I'll support Arsenal. It wasn't really my passion as such. It was more influence from my brother. Yeah. But then I took a strong hold. I think early 80s. That's when it really kicked into gear for me. So
you'll hopefully come on round about when I work out when the 80s are coming on, what week. So I'm not doing it every week. I'm doing it every week.
I mean, this is why I play. I mean, Liam Brady, I didn't remember too much of him, but I knew what I saw of him was amazing. But for me, I still say, and because I think it was what really connected me to Arsenal, I would still say Tony Adams is probably my favourite player. I know Henry and Vieira and Wright and all of them.
But being the best player and being your favourite player, Neil, is not the same thing, is it? You know, obviously, Dennis Bergkamp, they were the best players, but Tony Adams, I mean, he was incredible. And
because he had his faults as well, you know, that humanity about him, I kind of related to it. I'm not saying I was an alcoholic, but I'm just saying, you know, it showed that he wasn't just a robot. You know, it was just something about him that everything. I loved his leadership. I just loved his attitude. I loved the guy so much. Honestly, he's my favourite player. 100%.
And I love that story Lee Dixon said when Lee Dixon was about to play his first North London derby, and in the change room before the game, Tony Adams had him up against a wall and said, "You're from up north, you don't get this. We don't lose this game." And I'm thinking, that's Tony Adams. That was just Tony Adams all over, wasn't it? He used to live there as well, actually.
Unbelievable stuff.
Oh. Yeah. What a great leader he was. Exactly. That's we couldn't we do with a Tony Adams now in that changing room right now.
Wow.
What we saw the other night for me, it's like love a Tony Adams.
I've asked this question so many times. Sorry to drag it on. It's just one question. Am I right in thinking he's the only English player to have captained a winning championship side in 3 different decades? Is that right?
Yeah, he is.
I think so,
he must be.
And I think he's the only. I think he's the only player to play for England in 3 different decades as well.
Wow.
He reminds me. Forget football for a second, gentlemen. He reminds me of Bobby Moore. The FA didn't make his experience and his guile and knowledge, Bobby Moore. The FA just threw him on the heap. And Arsenal, for some reason, didn't take advantage of what the knowledge and the passion and the feeling and the DNA of Tony Adams to come back to the club in whatever capacity. That's something I don't get.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Or could it be that maybe he was just too strong a personality, and I don't know, because
that's what I think.
I think so as well. I mean, you'd want him involved because I mean, you know, literally, if Tony Adams was in the changing room, you wouldn't lose a game because you just wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to lose a game.
No. The other week they were talking about. I think they're still going to do it. They're going to take on a consultancy to let Arsenal players know what it means to play for the Arsenal. How are they going to get someone in a suit and a shirt and tie?
Are you serious? No. Are you serious?
It came out, wasn't it, Richard?
Yeah. I've heard about
They're going to get a consultancy, Neil. All you got to do is have half an hour of Tony Adams standing there. You'll soon find out what it means to be an Arsenal player.
Hang on. Are you telling me we're going to pay top bucks
for
someone in a suit to psychologically put about what?
Yeah.
Right. Now that I disagree with. We talk about the documentary. That is bollocks.
It might come out. No, it won't be in documentary. It come out recently.
Absolute
bollocks.
Yeah,
they probably wanted to do it last year, but thought we better not get that in a documentary because that would be really bad.
Jeez,
so we'll wait until afterwards.
Sorry, that's actually
that is ridiculous. I mean, whether or not it'll still happen or not, it's only they were talking about doing it. I think they, as far as we're aware, they were looking at seriously about doing it. Whether they do or not, we'll have to wait and see.
And also,
Richard, these consultants are not cheap. They're not cheap.
No, they're not.
They're probably paying you like
we don't need
stupid an hour. Sorry, spend that money on a midfielder, please.
Can I just say something?
How many ex-players have we got that can do that?
Yeah, exactly. Lee Dixon is so intelligent. Lee Dixon, he knows what it means. There's so many I can mention, right? There could be 40 I can mention. Also, what does that say about the manager if he can't get that across?
Yeah.
No, that's wrong.
Well, there was a manager not too far away the other night that knows what it means to be successful at Arsenal. That could probably tell everybody what it means to be Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the cameraman.
He was sitting in the dugout opposite Arteta the other night.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
He knows what it means, but he's manager of Crystal Palace, so there you go. But I mean, that is balmy, really, when you think about.
I can't believe that, guys.
People connected to the club now.
That is absolutely baggy trousers. That is madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That money should be spent on improving the team and the squad.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with money. It costs a fortune. It's nothing to do with money. It's the principle. It's not
it is the principle as well. It's the principle as well. But the fact that it'll cost us a lot of money as well makes it even worse.
It will.
Do you know what I mean? Geez. When we could get ex-players to do it, and they wouldn't have to pay them probably enough. Tony Adams will do it for free, I'm sure. He'd go in there, give his time up to go in there and motivate the team. He'd do it for nothing. I'm sure he would.
I don't believe that. I just can't believe
that. Richard, they'll do it from a flip chart, mate. Can you imagine that? Flip chart.
Yeah, they will. Yeah. They will. That's exactly what they will
Excel
do.
Spreadsheets. Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah. That's what it will be. Ridiculous. We just go show how out of touch the current regime at the club are with reality and with what this club means. And that was one thing that did come across to me, as I said in that documentary, really, how much the standards and what the club means it's been lost. And they can't pay a consultancy company to bring that back. They can't. That's not how you do it. If you can ever bring it back. It is stupid, yeah. It's mad. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
All right, let's try to on a positive note because I'm really pissed off now.
No, that isn't great, is it? Well, the good news is, Neil, on Thursday we've got the new episodes of All or Nothing coming out, so let's make sure. You'll be all right. You just got to wait another couple of days.
I still can't believe what you said. That was hilarious.
I mean, there is obviously last week actually. What I wanted before we finish, there was our new show started last week. Obviously, Steve and Sean's extra time show last Tuesday. What a brilliant first show that was. They're back again tomorrow, 8:00, doing it all again. Obviously, a lot more new subjects to discuss. That's going to be really good. So please give them a lot of support as you did last week, because that was a great show. Then on Wednesday, it's the big one for us. Melvin's first show, the Highbury Matters show. Obviously, that Leicester City programme is going to make its appearance as well. What a show that is going to be, seriously. I mean, talking about the Arsenal's history and what it means. Melvin's show is going to really give everyone an insight into exactly what the club means and what it should stand for still in 2022. So that is going to be fantastic on Wednesday. So please show Melvin the support that you showed the other guys last week as well, because the show is going to be great. It's going to be very different. It's going to be a very different show, but it's really what this channel is about. The history of Arsenal and how important the club is and what it's meant to so many people over so many years. And that's going to be a great show. So that's that'll be on Wednesday, 8:00. And then Adam will be back on Thursday with the Arsenal Social. Again, that was a fantastic first show that he produced for us on Thursday as well. Really fun show that was, with some great characters from Twitter as well, which he brought into the show, which was really good. So that will be on Thursday at 8:00. So all these new shows as well on the channel. So please get behind and support them as well, because that's really good. I'll be back on Friday. I've got a Leicester City fan joining me, Chris from Leicester Till I Die TV. He's coming on. We're going to preview Saturday's game. So that'll be on Friday. That's an early one. It's 5:45 because he's doing another show afterwards. So we're doing that early. And then on Saturday, I'll be here for the watch along against Leicester. Let's hope for another good performance from Arsenal. I'm sure it will be. I didn't give my prediction, actually. Melvin went 2-0. Neil went 6-0. I'm maybe going to go somewhere in the middle. I'm not quite as optimistic as Neil. I think it's going to be 3-0. Yeah, I'm going to go for 3-0. just because I feel as though we're in a good moment at this time, and Jesus is bound to score at the Emirates again. It's Premier League first Premier League appearance at the Emirates. I'm sure he'll score, which would be great. Shane's in the chat says another brilliant show, lads. I really like this panel. Look forward to Wednesday. Don't forget tomorrow's show as well. Tomorrow's show is good as well. It's Steve and Sean. It's a fun show that as well. I wonder if Steve will be sitting in the garden. Probably he will, because the weather's going to be nice tomorrow. So I'm sure he'll be out in the garden again with his glass of wine. So that'll be fun. But yeah, Wednesday night, 8:00 for Melvin's Highbury Matters. We're really looking forward to that. It's going to be good. So that's going to be fun. We'll be cheering for Melvin, I'm sure. So definitely give that show a lot of support, a lot of love, and all the other shows as well this week. It's a lot of stuff coming up. We've got a show every night this week, actually. So it's whatever type of Arsenal content you like, I'm sure there's something here that you'll enjoy.
Can I just say one thing, Richard? Congratulations on your 1K. On your 1K. Congratulations.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it's all you guys have contributed to it. Everyone that's been on the show from the start, everybody in the chat that's joined in. I mean, the show's nothing, is it, without all you guys? You guys on the panel that have been regulars throughout. And
yeah, but it's your baby, Richard. Take the credit there. Come on, you deserve it. So it's your baby. You must.
I must admit, on Friday, it was during the game when someone actually put a comment in that it reached 1,000. I didn't realise it had, because I was watching the game and doing a watch along, and it did feel nice for me, because I've put a lot of time and effort into the channel over the last couple of years.
Exactly.
And to get when I first started, I didn't think I'd get 10 subscribers or 100 subscribers, let alone to get to 1,000. I mean, it's quite a humbling experience, actually. And it is, though. The show and the channel is about the people that's on it, whether it's you guys, whether it's, the guys in the chat. That's what it's about, It's about a little community that we've built up as well, I think, and obviously with all you lot of the people that's doing the shows as well, the people that come on the panel, but also the people that's been in the chat as well. It's a nice little community that we've built up on all the different shows, and it's really been that's probably been the best part of it for me. Is all the people that I've met and that I've got to interact with from doing this, really. And that's been, there's been some downsides and some negatives as well over the course of time, but you get that as well. That's part of what it is, really. But just to interact with so many different people has been great, really. And talking about what we love talking about, which is Arsenal, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. What better way to spend time, of an evening than to chat about Arsenal with like-minded people. It's just been fantastic.
But I'm going to say congratulations. So just take it, and well done. All right, Rich. Well done. Just take it now. Just shut up.
No, thanks, Neil. Thank you. And thanks to everyone. I say, don't forget, tomorrow, 8:00, we've got a great show lined up for you. Well, Steve and Sean have. And then don't forget Melvin's show on Wednesday. That is going to be so good. Please do not miss it. It's going to be fantastic. And I say Adam's back on Thursday for the Arsenal social. So loads of great stuff. So please like, please subscribe. 1,000's not enough, is it? We want to get to 2,000 and 10,000 and 100,000. You know what I mean? But we'll settle for 1,000 for now. Anyway, we'll see you. Well, Steve and Sean will see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Friday. Melvin will see you for Wednesday. A few guests popping in as well. Maybe you might see Neil again soon as well, hopefully, because we like Neil being on the show. I'm sure.
Thank you. Really means a lot.
Always a pleasure. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you very soon. And of course, as always, come on, you Gunners. Come on. Let's do it. Speak to you later, guys. Take it easy.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, David.